Girl, it's what I heard. Allegedly, it's just the word. Allegedly, it's on the street. Allegedly, I sing to the beat. Allegedly, lee, lee, lee. Allegedly, lee, lee, lee. Allegedly, lee, lee, lee. Allegedly.
Well, let's get to Carlos King. And we have joining us the tri-state Tyrannosaurus herself, that Jersey gorilla, Teresa Giudice. I'm sorry, Teresa the felon Giudice. Now, we know Carlos ain't gonna ask the real interesting questions like, when did your incestuous relationship start with your brother? And when did he try to end it so he could marry Melissa? Because that's the real issue. She wants that sibling schlong, that brotherly bump, that familial phallus. And it's sad, but also obvious. So when Carlos went over to Jersey, he had Teresa and Danielle when they first started. He was their producer / wrangler. Carlos says, Teresa is still very down to earth and still very friendly, unless you're her brother's wife. Teresa really ain't got no problems with nobody except her brother's wife because she looks at Melissa as a man-stealer. You stole her sibling schlong. This heifer been on a show for over 10 years, but Carlos said now is the time when the world can really understand who you are. We understand who you are. You're a felon. You know, that's pretty much enough said. You're a felon who wants to sleep with her brother again. Because I'm sorry, honey, you ain't that hungry for something you ain't never had a taste of. Incest don't occur just in Appalachia. And you know how whitey do. Teresa didn't know that she made Carlos's top 10 list. He really touting this like you put out people's sexiest man alive. Don't nobody care that much about these over-the-hill heifers but me and you. They ain't even that interested. Now she's gonna say, you know, I'm so glad I was number 2 on your list, but I'm getting ready to do season 13, but this hasn't been fun for me. I mean, season 1 and 2, I was getting my feet wet. You mean you were bragging about how much money your husband was stealing and the life you were living, not having to work? Was it not fun for you because you had to go to prison in front of everyone? Or was it not fun for you because your husband cheated on you loudly and proudly? And you were forced to reckon with that you were married to a man that did not, nor had ever respected you. Was that your issue? Was that why it wasn't fun? Because you look like you're having an ignorant blast when you're on the show. We've seen all sides of you. We've seen the softer side of Sears, okay? We know you ain't poop. From season 3 on, I've had people come after me. No, you had people get even with you for mess you started, and then the federal government came after you for fraud. So you can't commit fraud and then say, the government's coming after me. No, you committed fraud. However, the big reveal is Carlos is saying that Melissa was DMing him to get on the show. I think Melissa was doing it because she was tired of you coming after her husband. So she's like, look, if I go on and put a spotlight on the incest, maybe she'll stop. So Teresa says that once she got on the show, Melissa got jealous and got in Carlos's DMs, and Carlos was telling her, your sister messaging me, and Teresa was so stupid she didn't realize her sister was trying to get on the show. So Melissa bringing those crappy sprinkle cookies to the party was her way of getting on the show, and it was her mother-in-law that threw them in the garbage. So Teresa says, I was just trying to help Melissa out, telling her don't bring those crappy cookies round because ain't nobody eating them, and if you gonna dress nice and have a big house, you actually have to go to the bakery and spend some money on high-end pastry, not cheap cookies from Costco. So Teresa calls Carlos crying after she found out Melissa was cast, and she was saying, I don't want to fight with my family. Teresa really said, you know, my family didn't want to see this, and that's why I've kept my mouth shut for so long. You've been complaining Melissa was on the show ever since she was on the show. When did you shut up? When? If they had come on the show the right way, I would have loved to shown off our family. If they came on the right way. You didn't want them on, you weren't helping them to get on, so they decided to help themselves to a check, like you all helped yourself to fraudulent checks. Me and my brother were best friends growing up, best friends and butt buddies. Everyone used to be so jealous of our relationship. No, they were in awe of incest. Oh, how are you and your brother so close? How did you have that relationship? Being butt buddies. Butt buddies. Sibling schlong and sibling snatch. Fame and money ruined my family. No, incest and lies did. And fraud. We can't forget that fraud. Fraud. Teresa, what are you on? Can you finish the sentence? And also, I want to thank my friend Jackie G. She helped watch my kids while I was in jail. She wined and dined them and took them to her apartment in the city. Yeah, but it was Joe and Melissa that was watching them on the day-to-day, while you and your husband were tagging in and out the hooscow before his deportate. Oh my goodness, so Joe started the scene at the christening because he wanted to be like table flipping Teresa. I could never watch the show because I couldn't see my brother and me acting like that, but now I watch the show. Teresa, you watch because you're obsessed with yourself, since no one else is. Except for this new gorilla guy you're with. Your simian spouse. Your monkey man. He got that smooth monkey lip. He just give me, simian. Oh, God. So Teresa gonna say, you know how my brother said my ex put my mother in the grave? No, it was him fighting at the christening that took years off her life. Okay, Teresa getting real foul before this season starts. That's how I like her. Foul and ignorant. Ooh. So now Carlos asking her how'd she start this podcast with Melissa Feister. I don't know who Melissa Feister is. But now Teresa apologizing for not inviting him to their little wedding. I wouldn't want a gossipy queen at my nuptials, but that's just me. Girl, Teresa's like, I can't even believe I'm friends with someone named Melissa because I hate that name so much because of that woman who stole my sibling schlong. Imagine wanting to sleep with your brother so bad you can't stand any woman with his wife's name. And the fact that Melissa is every other word out of your mouth shows your obsession. I mean, Joe Gorga is cute, but that's your brother. You should not be interested in him like that. You need therapy. So they met because she used to do a podcast with Teresa's lawyer and then had Mike Hill on, so Cynthia invited her to the premiere of Ultimate Girls Trip in LA, and she met Teresa, and Teresa was friendly, so they did the show. I didn't even know Teresa had a show, nor do I want to listen to that grating voice. Carlos's thick tongue is enough. He says, Teresa, when she first started on the show, she used to go to the grocery store by herself and she didn't have security. And he says, now do you understand, Teresa, that you're one of the biggest stars in New Jersey? What Jersey you talking about? Because I know people that live in Jersey, people like Lil' Kim, people like Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, she's known, but if I saw her at the market, I ain't gonna stop my shopping. Teresa says, I don't act like a diva. What show are you watching? You are a constant diva, and an ugly one. I didn't know you could be a diva with that face, but here you are. I mean, then again, just because you say you a diva don't mean you is one, because I'm like, a diva of what? You're a heifer that can go on reality show and get ignorant, but I don't see any growth. A diva to me has self-control more than anything. And that is something you lack because you can't even stop trying to hump your brother. At 50. So their show is about real life because The Housewives is about real life, but not real life. We're giving life without the glam, without all the cameras. Oh, God. Teresa's like, wait, but before we talk about where you can get tickets for my show, let me throw Melissa under the bus again. Because on Ultimate Girls Trip, she lied and said she wasn't in your DMs. And I had to send Cynthia the proof. I didn't send Kenyon the proof, but they knew what I was about and they had my back. Honey, the only thing that has your back is silver. You Magilla gorilla looking fool. Oh my God. She said, I would have let this go a long time ago. No, you wouldn't have. No, you wouldn't have. You would never let it go because it would still be how she did it. Even if she says, okay already, I did. And also, it takes more than one person on production to cast her, but they were already looking at the drama, and the way Carlos King is, he probably was reaching out to her butt. I could see him lying through his cap on this podcast right now because he still hasn't addressed Candy Burris saying he tried to steal her life story and dupe Mama Joyce. Address that, Carlos. See, I don't know. It's hard to trust a liar. And a thick-tongued liar at that. So you thought because Joe wasn't around, Teresa, that everything would magically work out between you, Joe, and Melissa? That wasn't going to change because you were still denied your sibling schlong. I'm sorry, but can we just be honest about the incest? You will never get along with a Melissa who steals your man. Oh, God. These are not the best podcast guests. Melissa's like, the show's gonna be fun, laughs, some tea, fun. Y'all are some dry whiteys. Would have been nice if they could have given us their best and brightest, but these are some dullards offering us fun, laughs. So now we gonna go down memory lane, and he said, do you remember when you chased Danielle down the banquet room hall? I remember. Because I remember when your daughter pulled Danielle's hair. Oh, God, Teresa, you still lying about your house being in foreclosure? It was. It was about to be seized by the government. But your whiteness kept it. So he asked her, you want Danielle back on the show? And she's like, she's great TV. And she is. I cannot deny that she is great TV. Even though I kind of like Marge, and she definitely, got physical with Marge. She's great TV. She's great TV. I can't say I don't want her back. Teresa, you keep telling everybody how stupid you is. So at the reunion, when she pushed Andy back in the chair, she didn't realize that Danielle had gotten that she didn't go see her nephew from Melissa. I don't think Melissa said anything. I think that was production. I think you mad at Melissa because she stole your sibling schlong. I'm not going to stop saying it. I am sorry. I have watched you pine and wither and yearn for this man for over a decade. It's time we all get honest with it. She misses her friendship with Jackie, but because the loyalty's lost, so is the friendship. I don't know, Teresa. You are always the common denominator. You just can't keep a friend. So now we naming 5 Jersey housewives we want to see together. I'm good with the current cast. Carlos loved the original cast just because people these days have a problem being fake. Like you were fake to Candy when you were stealing her life story and conning her mama. Fake like that. All right, well, that was a yawn.
Alleged what? Alleged who? Allegedly, allegedly. Don't blame, don't sue. Allegedly.